Hey yo, welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank and I'm joined by Tyler from Who's Got Nick's Podcast. How you doing, Tyler?
I'm good, man. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Good to see you in person, all that good stuff.
We're here at Capital Creative Showcase. We're talking about the local video game developers here in Sacramento. A bigger showing than we've had in the past few years, huh?
Major big showing. It's good to be back, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's good to see all the game developers, all their creations. There's just like a ton of new stuff out here, man. Like, almost too much to consume in, a couple hours.
That's true. You keep vanishing, and then I'm seeing you over there, like, yelling at some board game or some random thing. Going hardcore. We also have people playing the Tetris over here. You're currently undefeated. What's your highest score on Tetris?
My highest of all time?
Today,
350.
Okay.
350.
And I think the highest I've seen on here was like 40,000.
48,000.
48,000. So we have gold medals and board games to give away, but I think we're hauling them home. I don't know. So far, we've had a chance to check out a lot of the games. We're going to be doing some interviews here in a second, but what are some of the highlight games for you?
The a la carte game is interesting. It's a take on, like, food trucks, but, like, as a battle card game, as a strategy type of... It's almost like a mixture of, the Papa series, like the Freezeria, the Pizzeria. It's like that style, but turned into a battle card game. And it's such a cool premise, and she said that she's got a lot more plans going forward, but she has the base game down. Yeah. And it's on Steam, like you can, play the demo, but she said there was a lot of cool stuff like going forward that she wants to program in eventually, but it's a super cool and awesome game, and I sat there and played it for a little longer than I should have. But
I'm a big fan of Snap Quest, obviously inspired by Pokemon Snap.
Yeah.
But there's a level of like everyday living and selfies and things like that too. It's just a very polished game. And that's one thing I noticed this year over last year, or even a few years in the past, is that we're getting more and more polish on these games. Yeah. People are getting better and better at it, you know? Have you had a chance to check out the student games yet?
I haven't checked the student section. It does look interesting though. I kind of walked by. There was a good amount of people over there when I first went over there. So I was like, all right, I'm going to let the people do their thing first before I decide to start playing. But there's a lot of cool, even where we're sitting, like I know there are games right in front of us that we can actually watch.
I've been looking at this one right here for a while. That's been good. And we're next to the Ghostbusters too, so that's distracting.
Yeah, it is those Ghostbusters are very distracting, but they're cool. Yeah, they're cool guys.
Awesome. They're awesome. So we're going to be showcasing a lot of the video games today. We're going to be talking to the developers. We want to make sure to talk to some of the students. We're also going to be talking about best of booth, best of game of the day. Have you made your vote yet?
I've not voted, but I have one right now.
Okay.
The a la carte game has my vote right now. But subject to change because I want to play a little bit of everything. But
so we'll share the winners towards the end of the show, but we'll be interviewing everybody, spotlighting everything here. Again, Sacramento, we make games here, guys. If you want a video game, we're going to have all the links in the description. Check them out. These are hardworking video game developers. They deserve your time. Sacramento's where it's at. It's excellent.
It's where it's at, man.
Okay. All right, now I'm here with Andrew for Beat Heartbeat at the CCS 2025. Andrew, tell us about your game.
Hi, so Beat Heartbeat is a psychedelic rhythm platformer, and it's a game where we try to make a cool hybrid between the two genres that hasn't been seen before, and you're chasing after your heart in this weird psychedelic mindscape. And yeah, we're aiming for making something super cool and unique that hasn't quite exactly been done before.
How long have you been working on this game?
So the team started with me and one other person, and we grew out to be a core team of 8, and we've been working for around 2 years now, 1.5 to 2 years. And yeah, there's been ups and downs, but here we are.
How long till you could get this out in everybody's hands?
So we currently have a Steam demo already, on Beat Heartbeat store page, but outside of the demo, we plan for a full release probably next year around October, but we plan on constantly updating the demo. Eventually we want to add a story mode and all sorts of cool new things that hopefully we'll get a lot of people playing.
Okay. What are some of the hiccups you come across when you're developing a game from scratch like this?
So the hard part about developing this game is because it's both a rhythm game and a platformer, we need an aspect of both. So we needed to have a pretty good level editor we could use to start kicking things off. And this level editor was a big hassle because you have to make sure everything is snapped to the rhythm, and you have to develop all these tools to even start developing the levels. So it took us a while to make this tool for our designers to use, but once it's there, we were able to make a lot of levels. And yeah, just getting past that initial hurdle was a bit tough, but we got there.
one of the things we were talking about beforehand is the trust that comes in indie development. You're sharing your game with new people, and you're sharing a really good idea. How do you develop that trust with your game testers?
So Thomas actually has been doing a ton of work as sort of like a playtest facilitator.
Yeah.
So we try to arrange really like organized spreadsheets, and we like specifically choose what kind of data we want to hear from playtesters. So we give them kind of like a template of like the feedback they can give, so that they can make sure that the feedback is constructive for us, and it's arranged where they give us the feedback we want to hear. So by kind of combining a facilitation of our playtesters with like documents and our own questions, we make sure that all the feedback is really good and we can trust everything we hear as like good feedback.
And this game, again, is available over on Steam right now for people to give it a shot, right?
The game is available on Steam as a demo. We plan on updating it later this year to start showcasing some of our story content. But right now you can play through like 10 plus or so specially arranged songs just for our game. So, yeah.
When you're actually getting the songs, are you developing them yourself, or are you trying to find people who make good songs and then license them?
So actually a bit of both. A lot of our songs, we do actually have our own composers. A majority of the songs in our game are composed by members on our team, but we are also grabbing external composers. We've gotten some pretty popular ones so far. We asked them, hey, are you okay with using our game? Because of the status we make sure, hey, we can't pay you quite yet.
Yeah.
But if this is something you think if you'd like to see your songs in, please let us know. And we've gotten actually quite a few people who are interested just off that. So yeah, a little bit of both.
That's incredible. I mean, honestly, the polish of this game is beautiful, guys. Make sure you guys check it out. Beat Heartbeat, it's on Steam right now. And get your feedback to Andrew and Thomas, who's a quiet one over there, and let us know what you guys think. It's a beautiful game, frankly.
Thank you so much.
Beat Heartbeat, guys, on Steam right now.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Geek Freaks podcast. I'm here on the run at the Capital Creative Showcase 2025, just with a couple game developers. I came across this fun, amazing battle card game style game, and I want to introduce our creators. So go ahead, just introduce yourself, let them know what your game is, that kind of stuff. Alrighty?
Yeah, hi, my name is Ash. I am one of the devs for A La Carte, which is a food truck roguelike deck builder.
It's a very interesting premise to go with food trucks of anything. So what kind of inspired the food truck as the premise for the game?
Potential for shenanigans. It moves around, so we can take you to places that are really fun and interesting. It gives us anything we want as far as like level options. So this food truck, you start somewhere that's really normal, but by level 3, you could be anywhere. The current options for level 3, you could be underwater or you could be in space.
It's just such an interesting concept to take like the premise of a food truck and turn it into a card game. And I'm assuming then that you have passion about, the card game style stuff. So like what games kind of inspired you to throw this game out here?
Yeah, oh my God, card games are huge with the two of us. So Slay the Spire, it probably most closely emulates as far as the overall structure of it, but I'm obsessed with Balatro, so I'm sure that's worked its way in there. I was just telling someone I've got Balatro on my iPad, and it's like a legitimate problem now.
Yeah.
So Slay the Spire, Balatro, there's a little bit of Magic the Gathering in the mana system. And actually there's this really weird game in Digimon World 3. There's like a mini card game within that we're...
I think I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember the name of it. I played a lot of like Digimon.
Okay, yeah, Digimon World 3, there's a card game inside of that game. We stole their mana system. It's the same mana system.
Oh, it's interesting, but it's cool that you're getting a lot of inspiration from just different games and just like applying a little bit of each to everything. But give it a try, guys. A La Carte. It's on Steam, right?
It is. The demo's on Steam. Give it a try and let us know what you think.
Well, thank you again, Ash. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
All right, now we're here with Katie, and we're talking about Starbright Agency, a dating sim with so many lines of dialogue, and we're talking to the writer right now. How you doing, Katie?
I'm good. Hey, thanks for talking to me, Frank.
How long have you been working on this game?
We've been working on Starbright Agency for about a year and some change. A year and 3 months.
And you're the writer, so are you early in the stage of the development, or do you come in later on?
Well, so I'm actually the games director, but I did also write the whole game. So I've been involved with the development from the beginning. It was my idea, my world, and then I brought everyone else into it. So I guess I'm kind of like patient zero of Starbright Agency. I'm involved in all stages of the development process. I concepted the characters and designed them. I oversee all the art designs as they go through our other artists. Work with our engineer to make sure we're aligned with what design's vision is. Work with our UI designer, etc. So I pretty much do every odd job at every stage of the development pipeline. So,
Well, this is your baby then. This is exactly yours. Where did you get this idea from?
So I'm a huge Sailor Moon fan. I grew up watching Sailor Moon, Magical Girls, and I also really love K-pop. So one day I think I was just going about my life and I was like, wouldn't it be like crazy if Magical Girls like Sailor Moon were managed like K-pop idols? And I don't know how much you know about the K-pop idol industry, but it's a very like, it's high aesthetic, beautiful like presentation, but there's this kind of seedy underbelly, right? Like these idols train for many years for like a slim chance of success, and not a lot actually make it. There's a lot of burnout, there's a struggle of identity. A lot of people have these like fake personas that they like present to their fans, not even able to engage in relationships because like they have to be available to the fans, etc. So I was like, magical heroes, but this energy, this like kind of like fake persona, but like beautiful art form. And that's where Starbright Agency came from, kind of the juxtaposition of like capitalism and heroism. So,
I mean, that's such a great concept as a whole. So how do you decide to go video game and not comic book or novel?
Well, so I love video games, so that's that. I think video games are the best form of storytelling, and Thoughtful Bread is a narrative-focused studio. A video game is like one of the few forms of a story where you can really put yourself in the character's shoes, right? So like when you watch a horror movie, you're always like, oh, why'd they go in there? That's so stupid. And then when you play a scary video game, you're like, oh no, I'm going in there. Why am I so stupid? Or even this feeling of like cooperativeness with the character, right? Where it's like, it's you, and so like in our game, you play as Wishbright, right? And she's her own character with her own ideas. But you're kind of sitting on her shoulder, right? You're guiding her, down different paths. So you kind of have this feeling of like, that you are her, but also that you're helping her or maybe hindering her. And I think that gives players a much different experience of a story, and it leaves that story like in the back of your mind much longer than a book or a movie where you have that level of distance from the protagonist.
So you give that narrative choice to the players. Is that hard for you as someone who writes these characters? Do you kind of want them to go a certain way and lean a certain way?
I mean, I love all paths, like the good, wholesome, heroic ones, and then the messy, bad, villainous ones. Like, they're all fun to see. It's really interesting when I write choices or branches. I really think about that where, like, there's like an innate sense that I get as a storyteller where I'm like, oh, this is a moment where I would want to, like, I have a choice, right? I could write this or I could write that. And if I have that feeling where I'm like, ooh, this is good, but also this is messy and weird, and that's good too, that's when I make the branch, and I have those two different places for it. So
now you bring in a great team. Obviously, I mean, this art design is gorgeous. Has any of their input changed how you went narratively?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, our sprite artist, Junie, she's an amazingly, you can see it here, amazingly talented artist. And, our team is so wonderful because I feel like everyone on the team kind of is like incredibly talented, really gifted, but like hasn't had a chance to like shine entirely. Like just based off of like, it's hard to get into the game industries or they pursued other careers. We have talent from animation, from comics, etc. So like getting them to come in and be able to be like, I'm shooting my shot. Like we kind of all have that same energy. But yes, they all have helped kind of influence things, bring up ideas. I can't talk about some of them because they're very spoilery to the end of the game, but there's some pretty huge stuff that has like changed in the story based on the input of like our engineer, our artists, our composer like has really kind of influenced some stuff. So,
I mean, the entire team's working together on this. How much longer until we can get our hands on this game?
So we're going to be kickstarting in September, maybe October. We're honing in on that the final bits of polish to get us there. Depending on how we like fund in that Kickstarter, that will change our final like actual date. But we're hoping to bring it to players in 2026, hopefully by summer of 2026.
Kickstarter for video games is a whole different beast entirely. What kind of perks are you looking at for this to entice new backers in?
So for our Kickstarter, we have an actual 6th character route that we're going to be offering to players. That will be one of our stretch goals. The other biggest stretch goal that I think players will be most excited about is in our game, we have a phone social media system where players can text characters as well as participate in Astro, which is kind of like the love child of Blue Sky and MySpace. And customize their own social media, make posts, and those posts have impact on the story. So we'll be offering stretch goals around that phone experience, allowing players to unlock additional, like the ability to change their background. We want to be able to add like additional apps to the phone. There's been a lot of talk of us building a tiny game on the phone, like a Pong or something. Yeah. And now I'm very worried that the team's going to start being like the game within the game is the true game, and we're going to go down that path. But yeah, so a lot of that I think will be what we're offering for Kickstarter backers, as well as some from art goodies, prints, and the ability to create your own hero that will actually appear in the social media and ranking charts of Neo Seattle.
Oh, that is so cool. And I'm throwing it out there, verified. Everybody's all worried about getting verified on social media. Could be something for your game. What do you think?
Remember when we asked, or you asked about the team changing narrative ideas? That's definitely a very interesting idea. I haven't thought about verification, but thank you for that.
I try to help where I can. Where can people follow along with Starbright to see how the progress is going?
Yeah, so our studio name is Thoughtful Bread. So if you go to www.thoughtfulbread.com, everything is there. We're also on Blue Sky, we're on Instagram, and we have a Discord which you can join. If you go to the Blue Sky, there's a link tree that has it there. Those would be the best places to follow along our development journey.
That's Starbright Agency from Thoughtful Bread, guys. Make sure you follow all the links in the description. Thank you very much for joining me today, Katie.
Thank you so much, Frank. That was really fun.
All right, guys, again, Starbright, link in the description. All right, next up we have Garrett from BallBastic, developer. Tell us about your game, Garrett.
Well, are you familiar with Super Monkey Ball?
I am. Who's not? Great game.
Growing up, I was a huge fan of the original Super Monkey Ball games, Super Monkey Ball 2 being easily one of the top greatest games of all time.
Oh, it's a classic, yeah.
Then Super Monkey Ball Adventure and Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz came around when I was about 11. I was disappointed with the direction the series went. So I decided eventually, as game development got easier for the general masses, I thought, hey, why don't I try my hand at it, making a game that's a ball roller that's easy to learn but difficult to master.
What about Super Monkey Ball? What direction did they go that you thought, I could fix this? What was it that you wanted to change?
The biggest thing was that they made the gameplay a little bit too complicated.
I see.
There's Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz has a jump button and boss battles and all this other stuff.
Oh, wow.
That makes it needlessly complicated. The original games weren't exactly super simple. They had things such as switches, and there's one level where when you rotate move the stage moves with you.
Yeah.
But some of the changes I just felt, didn't really jive with me. So I thought might as well try my own hand at it.
Well, have you worked on a game before, or is this your first game?
I have some experience in Unity, making more of applications. I did this one probability simulator test type of thing. But in terms of games, no, this is my first one.
So when you're approaching a game for your first time like this, do you go to Unity, or are you looking at Unreal, or is there another engine you're looking at?
I looked at the various engines that were out at the time, based off of, for starters, ease of use and how much they cost.
Yeah.
Are you familiar, in 2023, they had this whole thing with Unity regarding the runtime fee?
Yes.
I started back in about 2017.
Okay.
And that was long before the runtime fee ever happened.
Yeah.
And then 6 years in developing my game on and off as a hobby, is like, hey, there's a runtime fee. You're going to have to pay 1/10 of a cent every time someone installs your game. And I'm like, uh-oh. They eventually walked that back, though.
Yeah.
That's good. If they did not walk it back, I would have finished my game, but it probably would have switched afterwards.
Okay.
But now I'll probably stay with Unity.
Yeah. So you picked your engine, you knew what you wanted to do. What's next? How did you choose the art design? What was that like?
Well, I wanted to do something that was similar to the original Super Monkey Ball games.
Yeah.
But distinct enough. So Super Monkey Ball has these checkered patterns.
Right.
And I thought that would be pretty cool to implement in my game. So that's what I did. But instead of going for say, animals in a ball, like a monkey or a hamster or a turtle, I did various ball types, such as a basketball, a golf ball, a tennis ball, things of that nature.
Now, when you're doing a different ball types, are you thinking about how I could use these to improve game mechanics? Do they have different functions as different balls?
The only one that currently has a different function is the sun, which adds a layer of light to the level.
Oh, okay.
There's one level where it's dark, and the sun makes that level slightly easier. But other than that, it's entirely cosmetic.
Okay.
Because trying to balance a game where you play as a beach ball and play as a bowling ball would be relatively difficult to work with. It would be like a fighting game with ball rolling. I hear that was another thing Super Monkey Ball did. They changed the stats for the characters.
Okay.
There were slight differences in the stats for the characters in the first games, but now they have like meters on a scale 1 to 5 of how high they jump, how fast they accelerate, how fast they can go, things of that nature.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid that.
Okay. What are some of the hurdles that you've come across in this journey of making a new game?
Well, I'd say the biggest one and the most important one is something that every game developer should learn, is that nobody else is quite as good at your game as you are. And let me explain what I mean by that. When I first released my game, I did not have analytics on it.
Okay.
But I added analytics, and I found out only 10% of people who beat level 1 wound up beating level 7.
Oh, God.
So I lost 90% of players between those 6 levels, and my game has 150 levels.
Oh, Jesus.
If that data were to continue, I would need approximately 200 sextillion people, or about 1 billion Earths, I think it was. A trillion, maybe? I'm not going to focus on the math. What I'm going to focus on is I then made a tutorial difficulty, which is there's novice, journeyman, and expert difficulties. But I went back and made more of a tutorial level where you can't exactly fall off. You can still run out of time, but the levels are boxed in.
Okay.
So you can run out of time, but hitting the goal is significantly easier. And then I also went and reworked previous levels.
I see. So in that situation, are you constantly playtesting with new people to kind of see what they can do? Because again, if you're just you testing it, you're going to beat that game every time. So are you bringing in some playtesters?
Yeah, it's interesting. When I was first working on the game, I was enlisting people that I knew, my roommates, my friends, and they basically were 2 different types. Those that had never played video games before and would wind up faltering on the first level. And my friends who were also Super Monkey Ball enthusiasts, you're like, oh yeah, I got to level 70, no problem.
Yeah.
So what I do for testing now is I use Firebase Analytics with Google to set up a check that says if this person has beaten this level and they haven't beaten it before, send a ping to Firebase to say level 11 completed for the first time. And then I can see how many players have each beaten each one and see the rate at which they fall off.
Yeah.
Which is super helpful because I can see if I lost 10% of people from going from level 18 to level 19, then either I need to make a level easier or I need to reorder the levels to determine which route would have the least amount of fall off.
So at this point in game development, it sounds like you're making less new content and more fine-tuning what you already made, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
How often are you having to constantly go back and check your game? Because I think at this point, right, you're wanting to make sure people try to beat the game or spend as much time as possible in your game. How often are you going back to that? Is that a weekly event?
I try to check about once every 3 days. I have a Google ad campaign where I bring people into the system and then they play it and it tracks whether they beat a level, how far they get before they quit. And when I see the records there, if, like I said, my current goal is if it's above 10% double-digit drop-off rate, then that's a problem, and I try to resolve it.
How many players have beaten your game?
That depends on your definition of beat.
Well, I want to see to the end.
I had one enthusiast play it on Steam who contacted me on Discord and told me, hey, I got to the final level, but there was a bug. And I was like, oh no! So I fixed it, and I think he went back and played that level again and beat it.
There we go.
So there is at least one person besides me who has beaten the game.
Yeah, see, that's the hard part. For gamers like us who play the games and are behind the development of it, we assume when we get our hands on a game, it's ready to go and it's finished. Well, maybe it's early access, but we know it's going to be pretty close. But it's interesting to hear that from your side, you're constantly fine-tuning this game that we're playing and making it better as much as you can.
The ability to patch games, which I think started sometime in 1998 with Half-Life. Don't fact check me on that. but it's one of the greatest inventions ever. Back in the day, we're talking like, we could just go to 2008 with Super Smash Bros. Brawl. They released one version of the game, and that was it.
Yeah.
So all the broken bugs and anything, some characters like Meta Knight was considered busted no matter what game mode you were playing on. It didn't matter if it was Final Destination with no items or every item on. Meta Knight was like, hey, you knocked me all the way to the other side of Hyrule Temple. Don't mind me. I'm just going to go back to the other side.
Oh, yeah.
Smash 4, Smash Ultimate is an example of where they were able to live update the game. So it's like, hey, wait a second. Diddy Kong's performing way too well as it currently is. We're going to reduce his weight so that when he gets hit, he flies 12% faster. Small things like that, you know? So when I finished my game, quote unquote finished, released it in the middle of April 2024, I learned that that was just the beginning. It's like climbing a mountain only to find that where you're at the top of the mountain is more of the base of a much taller mountain. So I'm not exactly against that. I think the journey is it's arduous but worth it. But what I'm trying to say is when you ship out a game in 2025, more likely than not, your journey's just beginning, not finished.
And that's the nature with patches. Of course, we appreciate them, but that takes a lot of extra work. Now, how long are you interested in making a sequel or a different game? And how distracted are you by constantly making sure to fine-tune the game you already put out?
Well, I've told myself that I want to work on a different game in the beat-em-up genre. I don't want to go too far into detail about it. But right now, I'm just focused on trying to make this game profitable.
Okay.
I could go a little bit into that if you want.
Yeah.
My original plan was it would be completely free to play, but when you were given a set amount of lives, and you can increase your amount of lives as you play by unlocking or by traveling through the game, kind of like Super Monkey Ball did before, but that you could also pay money to increase your maximum number of lives.
Yeah.
Now that, I'm not sure if that counts as pay to win because you still have to actually beat the levels, but it's like you can go 50 times in a row and die on level 128 before having to start over, like an arcade game.
Yeah. And now
People, that received negative reception, so I reworked it and I've changed it to two different things. There's either pay money up front, $4 or so, and you have unlimited lives. You can just play until you either exit or
pull your hair out.
Quit. And the other is free with ads, where you're given about 5 lives. When you run out, it says you want to increase your lives by 15. You can watch an advertisement.
Yeah.
And I found that's relatively profitable, or not profitable. It's more viable because in my experience, people love clicking on advertisements for games they're interested in, but then when they see the game price, they turn away.
Right.
So my conversion rates on paid version of my game is about 0.1%, 1 in 1,000.
Oh, wow.
But with the free-to-play version, it's like 28%.
Okay.
So 1 in 4 people who click on my ad go on to download the game, and I think that's pretty good.
That is pretty good. Now, in the long run, is paying up front, like we know more people are playing with the free version, but is it more profitable for you to have ads or for people to go out and buy the game outright?
Outright, it is better for me.
Okay.
Because even in higher rate countries like the United States and Germany, the eCPM, and I'm getting technical here, 1,000 ads gives you about $10.
Yeah.
So there are some people who would watch 250 ads before coughing up a penny.
Yeah.
And we call that irrational in the market, but that's just how some people are.
Right.
Some people are adverse to parting with money, even if they have to watch 300 ads for Taco Bell.
Yeah.
So to answer the question, I personally would prefer if people paid money, but it seems that especially in today's economy, when everyone's more interested in the free-to-play games, that's just how the market works nowadays.
That's interesting to see the money behind all the games that we're playing, you know? And I know for myself, I have a hard time on the App Store, basically, right? Where if it's free to play, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to watch a lot of ads, but I would love to have the paid option, and now I hear that's actually what's best for you guys, too, so that's fantastic. Well, Garrett, thank you so much for telling us about BallBastic. Where can people go to start playing the game today?
Well, there's the Steam version, which is available, of course, on Steam.
Yeah.
And then there's the iOS version that has 2 different modes. There's BallBastic and then BallBastic Lite, Lite.
Okay.
The Lite version is free with ads, but if you play long enough, there's a little button that shows up that says Go Premium, and you can upgrade to the ad-free version without having to install the original, the full BallBastic and lose all your progress. I
Okay.
realized that would be something that might cause problems if people played the free version, said, I'm tired of ads, but it's a lot of fun, and then they bought the game and realized all of their collectibles, like the volleyball, the tennis ball, disappeared.
Yeah.
It's also on Android, and that only has the free with the paid upgrade. There isn't a paid version outright for Android.
Okay. BallBastic, guys, check it out. We'll have links in the description so you guys can click around and get yourself a copy of the game as well. Thank you again very much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys.
I'm here with the makers of Bounty Quest, a very unique point-and-click style game. Go ahead and just introduce yourselves, kind of talk about the games you guys brought in.
Yeah, I'm Matt Wood, kind of leading this front here, trying to make this game. It is a point-and-click game that was inspired by some of our favorite games growing up, which were all the Sierra games, LucasArts, stuff like that. And I would say the biggest inspiration for this game was probably Full Throttle. It just has that grungy main character, but finds himself in a situation where he has to act, and so you get to see the story as it unfolds. And it's a passion project, definitely for both. For me,
Yeah, I'm Matt Linder. I did all the sound effects and music for the game.
That's an important part of it, man. The game doesn't happen without any sound, so
it sets the whole mood.
Oh, 100%, I agree. So you said that LucasArts is kind of a big passion for you guys, and that's something that you grew up with. Is there a favorite game in mind from LucasArts in the point-and-click world that you're drawn to, or a point-and-click game in general that you were nostalgic for?
I mean, lots of them, but I like the whole King's Quest series, even up to the very newest one. Beautiful. Loved them, right? And you know what it does is it pulls into the same thing that gets captured in escape rooms. Right? People who love escape rooms, they go, and it's because you want to get thrown into maybe not necessarily a story, but a series of puzzles that you have to solve to get through. Yeah, and they're not necessarily hard, although some of the old point-and-click games were very hard. You couldn't complete them without looking up online how to do it.
I was guilty of not reading fully, just kind of skimming the lines, and then it's kind of important that you read some of the stuff, because then you don't get the hints for what things do.
I think it was King's Quest 6 where they made it so that one of the things that you needed in the game was in the book that came with the game. So you actually had to have the book or you were never going to beat it.
Wow. I did not know that. That's a fun fact I didn't know. So what about you, man? What was kind of your inspirations in point and click games?
Secret of Monkey Island games. I absolutely
Such a great franchise, man.
Yeah, just the humor and the writing is so great at that.
Hours on end with that game, man.
Yeah.
But and the comedy style too. I mean, your guys' Bounty Quest. I mean, you guys are getting that kind of comedy, little twist.
We've gone slightly more adult. Yeah. So we're okay with innuendos and probably not vulgar words, but PG-13 and stuff like that. And I think that for me that resonates just because I used to play these games and now I'm an adult. So I kind of want something that's a little bit more, in line with
you want those people who played those games as a kid to see this game and be like, oh man, I remember these. I remember playing games like this back in those days.
So. Leisure Suit Larry and that whole series, and those ones were completely adult. But this was not so intense.
Well, you're not 18, but we're thinking PG-13. So
yeah, well, screenwriter, and yeah, so she's actually been that.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Shelly Jensen, and I am the lead writer on this project.
So you make the magic happen is what I'm hearing.
I mean, we all make the magic happen. I just give them a direction, and they kind of go from there.
She makes sure it's funny.
Yeah, I get you. So, no, this is I've got to play through it. You kind of talked me through it, so I felt a little bit better about it, but
I know, I'm sorry, I robbed you of it.
No, it's okay. I probably would have been here a lot longer had I not, had you right next to me, but it's a cool premise because in the beginning of your game, I'm going to kind of bring it up a little, but you start in a spaceship, and my brain immediately went to a Star Fox style SNES, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. And then it went to that point and click. I'm like, oh, this makes way more sense. The Bounty Quest, this is awesome. But it was cool you took two different elements and turned them into one kind of coherent thing. So
well, I mean, so a lot of games nowadays have that 1 to 5 minute intro, right? It's you're getting thrown into the story, so you want to capture that exhilarating thing of space racing. I mean, that's exhilarating, right? You're
who doesn't want to race in space?
And then the point and click part is you're trading insults, right? So like the very beginning is just like talking shit and racing into space, which is the two great things. So then it dumps you into the game, and then you get to find out like, well, why is it a bounty quest, right? Because there's nothing about a bounty at the beginning. You're just like, oh man, my ship's messed up. I'm on this weird planet, and the beauty of the point and click is your ability to explore. And so giving the player the ability to go out, click on stuff, see what happens, and have some funny feedback is, I think it's...
Is there a place that people can follow like your guys' like social medias to see how the game's progressing or anything like that?
So, not yet. Like I've been waiting for it to be at a state where like I enjoy the demo, and then I'm gonna throw that up on Steam, and we'll get like, you know, the ability to wish list and all that kind of stuff. But if people are interested, they can go to crosswiredstudios.com, and in the games section, the game is available as a website. So you can play wherever we're at currently, you know. And so as it builds out, like once we release something, then we're gonna shut the site down. You know, it'll be a game to buy. But the idea is that we want the feedback, and even we dog food this. Like within our own team, we're playing it and handing out this link so we can get people to tell us like, yeah, that was good, or yeah, this was hard, or you know, whatever.
That's awesome, man. Crosswiredstudios.com to go ahead and take a look at Bounty Quest. But thanks again, guys, for taking the time and doing an interview.
Yep, thank you.
All right, I'm here with Jason. We're gonna be talking about Nerf Ground Assault. Jason, tell us about your game.
Hey, how's it going? All right, so for this game, what it is, it's a combination of a tower defense mixed with like a bullet hell. So like you play like a vampire survivor type of thing. It's kind of like that.
How long have you been working on this one?
So I've been planning the idea for a couple of months. I've been deving it for about a few weeks.
Have you had other people playtesting for you yet?
Only a couple of people so far. You know, it's really in the infancy right now. I was trying to get the core idea down, and then I didn't want to miss today, so I wanted to just get a little feedback on what we have so far.
So, when are you projecting this game to be completed? It sounds like you're pretty early on.
It is, but I move fast. So my goal is to maybe have a demo in the Steam store in 2 to 3 months, and depending on how things go with some other parts of it, I'd say maybe for release in the next 3 to 6 months.
Where did you get the idea for this game? Were you inspired by another game or other media?
Yeah, so we were looking around at different games, and I was trying to think of, like what's been touched on or not. And, there's some genres that have just been saturated and things like that. And then we work with a smaller team. 3D is a little harder to do. And I was like, you know what? Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's go back to two, that kind of was popular. And I was like, hey, I think I can do something with this genre. So I was like, let's do it.
That's amazing. So you brought in a team. Have you met anybody new that's really added to your game yet?
So really it's over time. So actually, if my friend Jeremy right here, so it's the two of us mainly right now. And so we have other people we're kind of talking to, but really so far it's been the two of us.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so we got a couple more, what do you say, weeks we could be able to play this game, right?
Yeah.
All right, and that's going to be on Steam? When it's on, are you going to let me know so we can put this in the description?
Ooh.
All right, guys, again, that's Nerf Ground Assault. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate that. All right, we were talking about Ghost Hunter Simulator. We got Ryan. Ryan, how you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Can you tell us about your game, Ghost Hunter Simulator?
Sure. It's the Ghost Hunter Simulator, and just like the name says, you're taking on the role of an aspiring ghost hunter. You travel to allegedly haunted locations, and you're gathering evidence, either to prove that ghosts are real or disprove their existence, depending on your personal preference.
Oh, I like that. So you could actually choose how the game goes, whether or not it's all fake or real. I love that. How do you make that choice in the game? That seems like such a pivotal part of the game.
It sure is. And so as soon as you create a new save, the very first screen you see is just a screen asking you, are ghosts real? And you have yes, you have no. Whatever you pick there, that is now the reality of the game going forward. So if you say ghosts are real, you'll be able to go out there and get that photograph of a full body apparition and prove to the world once and for all that ghosts are real. If you say no, though, you're going to these allegedly haunted locations that they have their lore and their ghost stories and everything, but you're going to disprove and debunk these legends. And you're looking for those mundane reasons why people think this place is haunted.
I love that idea. It's so unique. That's such a new one. When did you come up with such a fun idea?
Well, so my wife and I watch a whole lot of ghost hunter shows, and after a while we decided we wanted to play a ghost hunter game, And we started looking around, and there are a few Ghost Hunter games out there, but they're all really like hardline horror games. It's all about the jump scares. You're gonna die 100 times trying to catch a ghost. And that wasn't really the experience we were looking for. We wanted something that was a little more authentic to these shows where, you know, it gets spooky, it gets scary, but I've watched an awful lot of these episodes and I've never seen a demon jump out of a wall and kill somebody, right?
Yeah. So which way you going? Are you gonna go real ghosts or fake ghosts if you're playing?
Both. Multiple playthroughs.
That's the developer talking right there. That's cool. How long have you been working on this game?
About a year now.
Okay, and how much longer until everybody can get their hands on it?
So we are going to release in October. That may be an early access release, depending on how much we get done between now and then. But there will be something playable on Steam this October.
Perfect timing. You guys' Halloween games already picked.
Exactly.
Ghost Hunter Simulator. Ryan, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right, now I'm here with Teddy for Snap Quest. A beautiful game, great sound design, and it's highly polished. Hey, Teddy, where'd you come up with the idea for this game?
It's actually Lisa's idea. It was right over there. Let's go get a quick. Yeah, look at this is the game that she always wanted to make. So basically, taking those old inspirations of like Pokemon Snap, Zelda, the classics that we all like to play, making a wholesome experience, and basically just putting it together into our own little creation where you're off rails, so you get to explore, but enjoy the taking of pictures of cute creatures that are wandering around. Yeah.
What did you guys want to add to this game that game like Pokemon Snap didn't have?
Oh, I definitely think there's a lot of things we add. So one is like the sense of surreal nature. So as you go through the game, you'll end up finding out like there's some weird stuff happening. Yeah, it's almost like Gravity Falls-esque, right? Like that sort of lore. And then on top of that, like we felt it was pretty limiting in Pokemon Snap. You're like in your cart. You can't really like, explore a world that is like supposed to be alive and dynamic. So it's like, all right, let's make that world alive and dynamic, and so you can roam around and be a bit more free, I guess. Yeah.
I had the privilege of checking out the trailer, and there was one part where I was like, oh, something messed up with this trailer. And then you're like, oh no, something's messed up with the world. Instead.
That's the glitch. It's taking over, right? Like, so that's the surreal element we're hinting at, yeah.
So you worked on the you worked on the sound design, I'm sorry. What was your inspiration for the music? What did you want to pull into this?
Yeah, actually, I'm not even like an audio guy generally. I'm actually a programmer, but like I had to do the audio for it because, we're a tiny team. You start doing like a lot of things for it. Where did I pull inspiration for it? I mean, some of those games that I mentioned, I think another one would be like Stardew Valley. I think like that cheery, like up by sort of like, like you're just like having fun. Probably like The Sims even, or like Sim City has like some really cool tracks that are like, they're not supposed to stick out and be like the highlight, right? It's like they stay in the background, but yeah, that's probably where I pulled it from, I guess.
Every game you mention are games you spend hours on and forget that you're playing a video game, so that's perfect. That's exactly the kind of game you want. You wanted to...
The kind of game we're making, so hopefully that resonates. Yeah, that's good.
How long have you guys been working on this game?
A long time. Probably longer than... Like, we both do it part-time, so we both have other jobs. But we've been working on it probably like 2.5 years, and we plan to launch next year. So, about 1 year left, a little bit less than 1 year left. Yep.
Are you guys playtesting it yet?
Yeah, I mean, we're playtesting it here, of course, and then we playtested actually at GDC a year ago, and then we plan on doing a open demo on Steam, and so, people could try it out before they buy it and see if they like it there, yeah.
When can we get our hands on the demo?
Ooh, good question. I mean, you can obviously do it here, but we plan on actually taking this and, like, buffing it up one more sort of, like, set, introducing you a couple more levels in it that we already have done, we just haven't, shown them up here. So probably in, like, 2 months, 3 months, yeah, max, yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, the game's highly polished. Honestly, guys, I think it's ready to ship today. But yeah, take your couple months. That's fine with me. Snap Quest, we'll have a link in the description once it's out, guys. Teddy, thank you very much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it.
Around us.
And let's give one more shout out to Lisa. Lisa, great job.
We're at Capital Creative Showcase, just kind of getting everything shut down here, just kind of reviewing everything we've seen, man.
It's such a good show.
There is so much here. Like, it's almost like too big of a bite, you know what I mean? Like when you bite into
especially compared to past events with the Capital Creative Showcase, bigger, better, and the word of the day, in my opinion, is polished. Everything here is so polished.
Clean.
Yeah, clean, yeah. I mean,
playable.
So, exactly. There has been times, and there's still some here, where we're playing a game that's got like a mechanic done or something like that. You're doing a little tidbit. I mean, some of these games, like, oh yeah, we're gonna be putting it out next year. Put it out today. It's ready to go.
There are some really cool and fun like premises to games that like you just wouldn't even think about putting into like a video game format. You know.
I know.
And just like all the creativity, especially with like high school aged kids are making games, which is
crazy.
just so crazy. If I had that in high school, it'd be over.
I know.
I'd have been working for Sony by now.
Yeah.
Or Nintendo.
I want to give a shout out to Capital Creative Showcase gave us a helper today, Van, who is
The
very
V, man.
He's awesome. So he's kind of got an idea for a game coming up, and I'm like, you're at the place. This is where you shop. You know, and what's cool is like, you see that early stage of video game developer where he's like, I know I want to do this, but I gotta work on that.
That flicker.
It's that flicker, you know. And one of the things we've been asking a lot in all our different interviews is, where did you get this idea from? And so many times it's like, well, I saw it in another game, but I didn't like how they did this, so I decided to make my own. Genius. That's the way to do
That's crazy. Dude, that Pokemon Snap game.
Snap Quest.
Snap Quest? Dude. How crazy is it to think like, you looked at Pokemon Snap and be like, I could do it better.
And frankly, they did.
They did. Like, it's kind of crazy how like, it's so polished. I was kind of surprised at how like, it's like basically done.
And open world too. Like one of the key things when talking to Teddy, who's the sound design guy, and Lizzie, who's the one that worked on the development part of it. One of the keys was they didn't want to be on rails anymore. They took that off of what was a successful franchise and built their own. And then it's like you're living in that world more. It's creativity. It's taking what works and making it better. That's what video game development is. It's perfect. It's great.
Yeah, and just everybody building off of each other is cool. Because I talked to another one of the creators here, and they're like, yeah, we literally saw someone doing the same style game as us, and I took one or two things from them that they think they did a little bit better.
Right, yeah.
And it's cool to see them kind of inspiring each other to like make changes and do things.
And that's a lot of what this event is about, is people from on the streets or whatever are welcome to come in, but what you see a lot of here is other video game developers talking to each other, sharing notes, getting ideas. And so, yeah, I like that idea. Can I use that? Or, hey, check this out. I think this would be better for your game. That's a big part of this community.
Yeah. And it's cool, too, that, like, we're kind of just running it out here. Like, it's just fun to, like, run around and just see other games. You know, it's a blessing. We appreciate Capital Creative Showcase for giving us the opportunity to just, like, be a part of it.
And as Sacramento as a whole for being such a good, nurturing home for video game development, like we were hearing from all these people. There's your voiceover guy right there. I see the back of his head. Tyler is going to be our next big voiceover artist, guys.
Okay, let's not get cocky, but no, I talked to him and he said he was looking for voice actors. I'm like, listen, you don't even have to pay me. If my name's in the game, I'm good, you know?
I think I want to do that too, actually. That's freaking cool.
Who would your character be, though? Because his game is like Star Wars oriented. So it's kind of like the futuristic, like bounty hunter.
I know. I want to be a bartender in space.
You want to be the bartender?
I'll be a bartender in space, man. What about you?
I would want to be just like one of the comedy characters. Like, you know, that character that's in there that's just like, just cracking jokes and just like pushing the players' buttons a little. You know what I mean? That'd be my style.
Yeah.
Either that or I'd want to like play somebody that plays a key role.
Right,
You know what I mean? That like kind of guides you through the story or something, or like, you know.
I'm cool with being a quest giver. You come to me, I got secrets. You gotta like go collect 12 eggs for me to give you these secrets. Classic quest giver.
Yeah, I could see you being a quest giver. You have like 19 quests that you're giving to the people.
Exactly. And it's always like, great job on the eggs.
Yeah, you gave Van like 4 quests today.
Van is a trooper. I see him over there right now. He's now actually enjoying the exhibition. Way to go, Van.
Shout outs to Van though, man. Like he was out there taking pictures and talking, and he actually got a really cool sky picture that we're gonna throw up.
I put it up already. It's already posted online.
Oh man, it's awesome spot. I'm hoping that we can come back to this spot again because I think this is a great place.
I talked to Thomas and I talked to Nathan, who used to run this, but now Thomas is running this his first year. And Nathan was saying like that's one of the big benefits with the change of leadership is a fresh leadership because Nathan used to be the leader. Now it's Thomas. And the first thing he wanted to do was find a new location. And this is what happens when you like let those fresh ideas fester and come to the forefront. Because what a great location.
What an amazing spot for sure. So
one of the hits is you brought Tetris with you and the old NES Tetris.
Yeah.
We had people get close to your record.
Close, yeah. It's been fun seeing people who are excited about seeing the old school stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's something that like I didn't grow up with. so I didn't know much about it, but I grew up playing it in like school on a modern computer. You know, like, and it's cool to see people get excited about it because like all ages played. I mean, we had teenagers, elementary school kids, all the way up to like, you know, older adults, like all understanding the same game. And it's cool to just have that like community centered around it. So it was cool to see. And like, I've had a couple of people beat high, you know, the high scores that were set on there. And it's cool. Haven't touched my score yet, but.
Well, yeah, hey, you streamed the game.
I do stream, I do play a lot. So, but no, it's still cool to have it. And, you know, and we're giving out prizes, medals. Frank's been giving out medals, man. Like he's making it happen.
When you see Frank, you think Olympians. So yeah, it's perfect. All right,
but this has been amazing.
It has been.
I cannot wait to come back next year because they're going to be even more polished games.
Yeah.
Some of them might be already like up and running. Like it's going to be so cool to see how things change too.
Yeah. We got a lot of small interviews with people, but we've also have established some longer interviews we'll be doing later in the year. So you guys are going to hear from these people again. We're going to hear about how the progress has gone and really, you know, showcase how the development's gone. So it'll be really nice. Well, guys, thank you very much for hanging out with us. Again, thank you, Capital Creative Showcase, for inviting us out again. It's been a blast, Tyler. It's good chatting with you.
Dude, it's been so much fun to be here. I can't wait to come back again next year.
Tyler's podcast, if you guys want to listen to more Tyler and Connor and Charles and their very hot takes that I disagree with all the time, and 64 controller is the best controller, check out their podcast.
I'm sorry.
The podcast is Who's Got Next Game Podcast.
I almost choked on that,
I am now muting
words.
his mic so you can't hear him fight against me on this.
Okay.
All right, guys. Again, check out Tyler's podcast, Who's Got Next Game Podcast. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.